Auto sales data, that was the key talking point, and Maruti disappointed a bit with the kind of numbers it reported. But let's go across to Mr. Shashank Srivastava, the Senior Executive Officer, Marketing and Sales, Maruti Suzuki, to try and get a better sense of what's likely to happen in the coming months. Mr. Srivastava, hi, thank you so much for making time and speaking with ET Now. Well, you sold 1.8 lakh units in the month of July. Going ahead, can we expect the sales number to continue? What are you hearing in terms of the moderation of demand and the clamor around it?
So yes, you can expect this level of production and numbers to continue, especially when we see the festival season kicking in from the end of this month in Kerala and going forward, spreading to the other parts of the country. First, the western part with the Ganesh Chaturthi and Janmashtami, and the northern part later on, and the eastern part with the Diwali and the Durga Puja. So yes, I would expect these numbers to continue going forward. On the other question of retail being a little less a thing, actually, if you see, the volumes have been pretty good. We have had the highest ever April, the highest ever May, the highest ever June, the highest ever July. So in terms of absolute volumes, I think we have seen some really good set of numbers in the industry. However, if you are referring to the growth rate, for example, in July was about 3%, and in June it was about 2.1%. That seems to have come down, and I think the reason is that the base effect has started coming in. Last year, Q2 was a very large one. In fact, the highest ever quarter in our history of Indian passenger vehicle was last year in Q2. And the highest monthly sale was also the highest monthly, and the third highest monthly sale also were in the Q2 of last year. So on that significant large base, I think growth figures you might see a little muted. But in terms of the absolute numbers, yes, the numbers seem quite good in the industry.
Sure, the absolute numbers will be fine, but the growth rate might look a bit subdued because of the high base. But to maintain this growth momentum, have you been indulging in higher discounts?
No, I think my expectation, while of course the market forces will decide those levels, but my expectation is that they will not go up from here. Because one of the big things which happened in July and expected to continue is that the semiconductor issue has become a little less serious, and we have seen much more normalized production in July. And what that helps us is that it enables us to modulate our production in those models where so far we have been producing more than what the demand was. And in other models where we were producing less than what the demand was. So we can produce, when we can produce all models, then obviously we can modulate our production as well. And therefore, I would expect discount levels not to go up from the levels that we have seen in the recent past for small cars.
The discounts are not going to inch higher, but Shashank, you have big plans to lead the SUV segment. Where do you see the market share stabilizing for Maruti by, let's say, FY24 and in the SUV segment?
We introduced these 4 SUVs that we now have. We have the Vitara, we have the Brezza, we have the Fronx, and we also have the Jimny. And I'm happy to say that Maruti Suzuki became the #1 SUV manufacturer for the month of July. So in July, we could do almost about 42,000 plus SUVs, whereas our next competitor in the industry was around 36,000. So our market share in SUV in July was about 25%. If you compare it with last full year, financial year, market share was 12.1%. So we are sort of making good progress in terms of market share gains in SUV segment, and also in our stated objective to be the #1 SUV manufacturer for the financial year. So we have made some good progress. We were in Q1, our market share was about 20% or so. It has in July went up to 25. Last year it was 12.1. Even in Q4 of last year, it was about 16.2%. We are making good progress. and hopefully we will continue to do so in the balance part of the year as well.
Okay, Shashank, on that note, we'll let you go. Appreciate you joining us on the show and all the best for the coming months and quarters. But let's take a